What the fuck is up, gamers? It's your boy the Goods, and we are back for episode number 48 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If I do this right, this will be the final episode. Who's to say? So, or press this, I don't think I did yet. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right?
Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed.
So then the person that carried you into the inner temple...
It could only have been the killer!
That's what I think too.
So the killer carried Maya into the inner temple? What the fuck? Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather more information before I ask her again. So, I know what it is. He didn't see the blood. He tried to clean up everything, but he didn't see the blood. The torches were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed.
I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's still one thing that bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
It's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well, let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
I need to ask about this. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangle shape around the lantern.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take the snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah, the area I collapsed in ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help me explain them.
I know what it is. He didn't know that the blood was red. Or he knew the blood was red, so he couldn't see it. So he got rid of all the snow just to make sure. Is my hypothesis. So you're saying that you never saw the killer, right?
Yes.
But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker.
Nick, I'm sorry.
The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble, moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Okay. So, I want to try this one again. Because he said that there's... Oh, here we go.
Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden...
She may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I don't know why I'm pressing it. Hold on. I don't need to press that. I don't need to press that. I know what it is. I know what I have to do. I don't need to read this shit. Yeah, that was... Hold on. I need to save the game just in case. Just in case I'm wrong. I know I'm not. Yeah. The body of Elise Donham was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard.
Then, at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh? And what would that be? You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on this lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern?
Ah! You're right!
She's so cute. I love Maya.
Order! But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow, then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing! Objection. But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
The killer didn't notice it. He didn't know. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that.
You're right. There's no way any normal person would.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight's pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
This lantern was submitted as evidence yesterday. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern! There's something written on it! Why, it's written in blood!
Nonsense! This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle! Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron!
That's ridiculous! No one told me anything about a bloodstain. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. Ha! It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason I don't drink red tea! I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, The defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Elise Donham, also known as Miss Misty Fey!
It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Ha! Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on, how does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not like that's my name written there. Objection! I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow.
The snow? How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't he just take that area? Oh! Could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area. Objection. Isn't it more likely the killer just couldn't see the blood because it was dark? Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
I have no idea who that could be.
Hold it! Wait just a minute!
But Maya!
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer! After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after that old bridge got fixed up.
Objection. Maya. You can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... Eek!
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't. I'm afraid I don't follow.
But are you senile, old man? We just established this a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Ha! Nicely done, Trite.
Very well, let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the Inner Temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there at the Inner Temple, too.
Little Pearlie? What does she have to do with this shit?
Pearlie was also stuck at the Inner Temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around, but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and chewed her right up.
Who is this Pearlie?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Fay.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, while I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry, but what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. Ha! The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot!
Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright?
Let's get this cross-examination started. Ooh, look at this determined over here. Alright, stupid. Alright, stupid. Let's go ahead and save the game. because I got you fucked up. So, what evidence do I have? Stone lantern. Dusky bridge photo taken the morning after the crime. Okay. Well, it doesn't match the victims. I was stuck in a tree. I don't have much. I don't have much to go based on TBH, bro. TBH. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. Yeah, to press everything, TBH. So where did you think Pearl slept that night?
In the spare prep room next to the training hall, I guess. There's a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place?
Seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya.
She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense.
Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise Donham. I don't fucking know, man. She searched the entire inner temple side end to end?
Well, you see, Pearlie gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She said that she even went back and forth several times.
The inner temple side has two structures, the training hall and the spare prep room.
And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it.
There was a storage shack, too. Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully?
Well, if it was me, that would be the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
What the fuck? Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge?
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearlie said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that.
Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern. Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the Trig lock. She couldn't let anyone see her, so she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. What happened after the bridge was finally fixed? I'm so fucking confused on what to do. So it was your first time on the inner temple side, Mr. Godot. That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touché, Mr. Wright. Oh well, what do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. The freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass. So we had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh? Ha! You want to say something trite? In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is. Okay, so hold on. That's what I need to do. I need to get that. What do I have to prove? A talisman? I need something to prove that he'd been there. That doesn't prove shit. Unless he's like hiding, like lurking over there. I don't fucking know. Okay, hold on. So, orders from Morgan Fay. I have no idea, dude. You'd think the talisman, right? Because he wouldn't know what that is. Yeah, no, that doesn't. He arrived there for the first time. It's not the lantern, is it? No. I wonder if it's maybe the knife? No? That has to be the statement. We just need to find the right piece of evidence. It's not the photo. Burnt letter? No, but that was Pearl. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Hold on, let me like present things until I get it.
Okay, I had to look up a walkthrough because I was doing the wrong thing. You have to press this one that seems innocuous. He cheered her up.
That's what Pearlie said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was, thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Ha! Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy's really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one. The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs, so I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down my verdicts in my own way. Judge style.
Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? Looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy?
So from there you headed for the prep room.
Well, wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Donim.
I was right. I just didn't have evidence yet. And now I do.
Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place.
Well, where do you see that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll?
But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who that is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What's that wonderfully delicious smell?
Fucking like 5-day-old outside gravy? Oh, it smells like fucking rot.
The morning after the crime, someone covered it up with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing it was Misty Fey.
Hold it! Wait a minute, Nick!
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top, there's a crest there.
Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly, so if you know the meaning of the mark,
then you could guess it was a picture of Misty Fey on there.
True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh.
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple, long before the crime took place. Can I ask you just one little thing, Trite? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
That's right! Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene!
Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of this plan?
Yeah. This has opened once before. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere on Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed.
Unsealed?
Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how he knew the crime was going to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said the instructions were hidden.
That's right! Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden!
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit.
A visit!
Morgan Fay told her daughter, Pearl, about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit in the detention center?
Yes. It could be arranged if you were with someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot!
Order! 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 Mr. Godot, you're under fire again!
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. It's a little weak here, I think. Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid in the Inner Temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her. Okay. I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue a damsel in distress.
The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural.
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it! You figured it out, haven't you, Nick?
Maya, I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh? I have a feeling I need to present Mia when they do this. Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. Mia Fey. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here! Mr. Godot is a defense attorney?
With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
I think this is where I end the episode. Thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, we will complete the game. But for now, we're gonna end on this little tense moment here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!